We've got another interview with Neil Sarfati about his time on the Flagship Apollo as part of the Apollo Stars music group with L. Ron Hubbard, and how they were used to create good public relations in every port that the ship went to. He's also going to tell some other funny stories about people getting out of the Rehabilitation Project Force to join the Apollo Stars and add dancers and costume people and all sorts of things. And it's just really funny stories about how people use that to get out of the punishment of the Rehabilitation Project Force. Anyway, he's got great stories. Neil Sarfati for this video. Stay tuned. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our show, Scientology Peeling the Onion. My name is Mark Fisher, and it's actually our channel. And I'm here with my co-host, Janice Gilliam-Grady. How you doing today, Janice?
Good, Mark. Good day, everybody. And thank you for tuning in to watch another one of our great episodes.
Yeah, we're glad everybody seems to be liking and appreciating it, and they're fun to do, and we get a lot of enjoyment out of it. And this is our second interview with our guest, Janice. Why don't you go ahead and just let everybody know who he is, and then I'll bring him on. Okay.
Our guest today is probably the original Joker and Degrader, Neil Sarfati.
Hey, Neil, how you doing? How do you like that, huh?
Hi, it's a great title. I'm very proud of it. And especially coming from Janice. What the hell? That was great.
Yeah. We had a lot of fun interviewing you last week. About your time in Los Angeles, and then going to the Flagship Apollo, and then the creation of the Apollo Stars. And we're going to carry on with more stories. But you said you wanted to answer a couple questions or comment on a couple things you did, right?
There's two stories. First of all, I finally remember the guy's name, a brilliant piano player. This is when I first arrived at the American St. Hill. His name was Lamont Johnson.
I remember him.
Yeah.
Lamont was this great piano player. So those types of people give credence to what it was about. He later left, of course, like the rest of us. But him, and also the late who I was friends with, was a guy named Jim McMullen. He was an actor that was in Downhill Racer with Robert Redford, and he died a few years ago from Parkinson's, I think. Just a really nice guy, but he left years ago, him and his wife.
Yeah.
So I just wondered. And then there was a story about AOLA that I thought was a cute. When I first arrived, I'm on reception desk wearing the hell outfit, and a bunch of the OTs were going to Vegas to control the crap table with their minds.
Okay.
So this was Rick Hall and none of our crew, but Rick Hall and about 5 others were driving to Vegas because they did the OT levels, and they were gonna go to the crap table, and they were gonna put anchor points in each corner of the room, which is a Scientology thing of using your mind, controlling the room. So I gave them $10. I figured, well, I can get lots of money. And of course, they came back broke.
No $10, right?
Oh, my $10, which was most of my pay that week, But, so, all these stories of them going and controlling the room, I could just see them standing in the corner going, yeah. That was just.
So did you say they were wearing these uniforms when they?
Oh, no. These were all public. So they were in cities. But matter of fact, Rick Hall borrowed my suit. I had great clothes for my earlier profession, and he didn't want to give it back. I said, no, that's my suit. But that was Rick Hall's style. So I love that they came back broke now,
Hey, Neil, let me ask you a question, Neil. When you guys were wearing these suits at the Advanced Organization in Los Angeles, What was the reaction of public people when they came in and saw you guys in these suits? Was there any
Well,
funny reactions?
like earlier when one of the guys went to Hollywood for lunch or something, they thought he was from a movie set.
Yeah.
It looked like we were, that's what we looked like. But our interaction with locals, they just,
Oh,
we would go to the
Well,
restaurant. We go to, if I had enough money, I can get a hamburger at Denny's, which was down the road. And in between, it was Denny's, the LA Org, and then us, and then Subway Center later on became down the street.
yeah.
yeah, because this was all downtown area, like right near MacArthur Park.
Yeah, it's near MacArthur Park, right? It wasn't
Yes.
downtown. It was near MacArthur Park. It was
Right.
the Westlake area and Silver Lake area, which is now very hip and very,
Yeah, it's very gentrified, as they say.
Yes.
Yeah, but I remember those days, MacArthur Park had the Rag Lady and the Mirror Man and all these interesting characters.
Oh, there was one lady with the push car with the matted hair.
Yeah,
She had hair down to here that was all matted. I mean, it was just perfect for us because we were all strange and these people were strange,
You all fit in.
I remember once having lunch with, who's the first clear? Oh,
John McClane.
John McMasters.
John McMasters, yeah.
Right.
Sorry.
So we're having lunch at Denny's. Him and somebody else and I don't know how I went. And he's into numerology at the time. I'm going, he was into numerology. The numbers mean this and that. It was
Neil, let me ask you, because we were talking before we went on air. I mean, you guys had a lot of fun back in those days too, right? It wasn't as serious as it later became.
Yeah, it was a totally different. I wanted to bring that up. He Hubbard kept on morphing into more and more punishment for people. At first, especially in LA, I would go out with people at night. I would sleep with different people. It was not a problem. The only rule was if they get upset, if you turbulated, that was a fancy word, but if they got upset, then that's not good. But it was a totally different. But as Hubbard, year after year, the way I see, he morphed into more and more discipline because of his paranoia. He's paranoid. It's paranoia. And until finally the RPF came about. And then the RPF,
right.
And the RPF was originally only supposed to be a few months. That was the original idea, that it was never to be into years.
I know, that was amazing when I heard that after we left. I
Well,
couldn't imagine being on the air that long.
Chuck Beatty in there for 8 years?
8 years.
Yeah,
8 years.
Oh, Chuck Beatty, 8, 10 years. I mean, my heart breaks for these,
I know. I had to do it in 1982, 83, and I was on for 3.5 months. And that included running on the running program around a pole in Griffith Park for 51 days. Okay. So, I mean, that seemed like a long time to me, being in there for 3.5 months. I couldn't imagine being in there for 8 years. That's outrageous.
A whole bunch of them there for years, Mark. It was just, but I'm just saying the reality of he getting more and more paranoid, and then Mishead Cabbage, or whatever the guy's name is, I know he took on all the worst parts of it and made it even crazier and crazier.
More punishment.
Yes,
right.
I mean, punishment. I mean, as crazy as Hubbard was, he would never hit anybody. That wasn't that's. I mean, remember, we're going back to Janice's mom, who made what Scientology people thought it should be, that you glow things and you evolve into a better person. I mean, one of the things, you're on the ship and he's supposed to be this benign wisdom man from over the universe, and he's screaming and yelling, and you're going, that's where cognitive dissonance comes in even more. And you're going, okay, maybe the body's, you start rationalizing, which is what we all did. We would justify and rationalize everything. And the thing that would change it is because we all got along great. So there's a strange there's
Yeah.
a strange dichotomy of us enjoying each other. We would swap. Of course, even when at the beginning of the RPF, when you're not the Rehabilitation Ron's Prison Force, uh, you would get a smile from someone. I remember Janice. I was in the RPF and in the garage and doing the running, and she would walk by and give a big smile. You don't know, that meant so much to me and some others.
Yeah,
It's like acknowledgement that, hey, I am alive.
Yeah.
right.
You know,
Yeah.
And Neil, I was
You
going to
do
mention.
deserve a smile.
but
You deserve a smile.
I was going to mention though to you, Neil, just like you said, like you start to justify in your own mind that, that person, like I worked for Miscavige and I used to watch him do all these things, right? And go bananas, not hitting that started way later, but just going bananas over really trivial stuff and like really angry. And then, I started to just go into my mind. I'm thinking like, well, he keeps on getting promoted and he keeps on winning and moving up and gets acknowledged for it. I'm going like, is that the way that we're supposed to treat people? And then in my own mind, I told myself, no, that's not the way we're supposed to treat people. And if that is, that's not how I want to be.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Janet.
Yeah, you do have conversations in your head, just
Yeah.
trying to check yourself to see if you're right. I mean, these people wrong, or is there something wrong with me? Or this isn't what I read in the policies or the bulletins. It's not Scientology that I grew up with.
Right.
As you watch the different insanities.
Well, an interesting story. I only met David a few times. Once when I had the magnificent job of security as lobby in charge. I was in charge of the lobby as a security guard. Of course, I was the only one.
At the Fort Harrison?
Yeah, that's at the Fort Harrison.
Yeah.
So I would sit there in plain clothes, and he would sit down. He was 16, and that's when I really became friends with Karen Black, who is a sad story there. And so the next minute, when I'm on the RPF, I already knew that I was going to be going. I already had the epiphanies, but I'm there. I may be finishing it because you keep on wanting to end this program. And he came on a mission with Sue Pomeroy. I said, this schmuck is now going to be in charge of all this. He was like the final nail. But a week later, I think I was gone.
Well, I think that was the only mission he ever did, and it was a failed mission.
Was it?
It was actually classified as a failed mission. And later on, he became mission ops, but he had no missions under his belt that he had success with. Just that one mission failed. I don't remember him ever going on a mission again.
Yeah, I finished. I was about to graduate the RPF. And when I didn't, I said, okay, that's the final, I had my clothes hidden behind we didn't go into that story yet, but I had the clothes hidden behind the dumpster. I had $30 in my pocket, but if you want that story, I'll tell it when you want me to.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that on another show. Just to finish that off, I was there with Miscavige when he was 16 before that mission, because I joined the Sea Org in 1976, July, and he was my roommate. He had arrived like a month before, and I was on the CMO, the Commodore's Messenger Org, the States Project Force up on the 9th floor, and we were roommates. Okay. Anyway, after about 2-3 weeks, I got into trouble because I didn't agree with what happened. Somebody messed up Annie Rush's laundry, but it wasn't me. But then we all got in trouble, and I'm going like, what are you talking about? I didn't have anything to do with it. But anyway, make a long story short, I said, I'm out, I'm leaving. And I did, I left. But he was a total a-hole then. He was a nice guy, but then as soon as he did something he didn't like, boy, oh boy, he became an a-hole. He was only 16 years old at the time.
Yeah, well, that's when I left in November 76. So
okay. I left at the end of July. The funny part is that, I eventually married Julie Catano, and she was only 16 going to high school, I guess at the time, or 17 or whatever, with Shelley and Mark Yeager. But anyway, Mark Yeager and Julie, they both were on leave on their annual leave that month of July. So I never saw them because I came and I was there and then I was gone. And then they heard years later when I met them, go, oh yeah, we heard about this guy who was only here for like 3 weeks and then left. It was me.
Yeah. Well, Mark and Julie, they were 15 at the time we moved ashore because they all had to go to school. And as soon as they hit 16, they could drop out. And that's what
this
they
is
all
Mark
did.
Yeager. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Mark. Yeah, I remember Mark.
Yeah.
Little kid.
I remember the late Mike Render being small. And when I saw him, I said, what the hell?
Well, let's go back to the Apollo stars and L. Ron Hubbard. And that's Neil there on the left of the photograph with the dark hair and mustache with L. Ron Hubbard. And those are the Apollo stars. And let's carry on, Janice, and, go on with the stories about, your first time playing and, how it all started out. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, well, Neil already mentioned about how when we sailed into Funchal, Madeira, that they wanted to know if we had a band that could play. And we did. And so Neil and a bunch of them all got together. And then the mayor wanted us to keep performing. So Janet Thompson got with Neil and Captain Bill and other people and had them practice together. And what was that song? 101, the Odyssey one. Oh, anyway, I didn't like it.
Well, good.
Anyway.
Oh, you're talking about, oh, I know what you're talking about, 2001 Space Odyssey.
That was
one,
our
right?
main entrance song. That was the
right.
the
You guys
you
always played it, and I'm like, oh boy, now I gotta listen to this.
Then we changed it later on to "We're Eagles Dare" from the movie with Clint Eastwood. So, which was not the great. I mean, 2001: Space Odyssey had a great opening. I mean, and it's
I got so tired of it. But
well, of course, you heard it 400,000 times. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so the second gig was more professional, and that was set up. And Mark, you've got some of the photos there.
Yes.
Here it is. There's Luton in the middle, and Craig Ferreira on the right, and to his left is Tammy Arbuckle. And there's Bill Lawrence. He was the electrician.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah, and then over on the other side is Kenny Kampleman and Billy Potter, and the back of the head facing us, that's Captain Bill. And as you said, he was being the conductor.
Yeah.
And so this is.
Did you guys do that? Did you guys do that backdrop? Did you guys do that backdrop? Is that supposed to be
somebody on the ship
Apollo behind you?
Yeah, someone in marketing did it. Yeah, the art department did it. So this was the second gig. Yeah.
Are you wearing suits or Sea Org uniforms?
I'm wearing a tuxedo. I don't know where I got it from, but Billy's not wearing a tuxedo, but I have a tuxedo.
Yeah. Well, and then here in the front is Captain Bill.
Wow, he looks so skinny there. He looks so skinny there.
Well, and he was probably in his 30s at this point.
Yeah.
And in the red was Nikki Freeman. Nikki was Mary Sue's communicator. And how she got involved, I have no idea, except for she used to perform in Las Vegas. So she didn't have, as a showgirl. So she didn't have stage fright.
That's where she met Frankie.
Yes.
Because I think Frankie was a dealer.
He was a dealer and she was a showgirl. Yes. Yeah. And they got into Scientology. We actually discussed this with Deanna Ross.
Deanna Ross. Yeah, we did a couple interviews with her about her time. Her family started Las Vegas, where they had the first mission. And that's where Frankie and Nikki and they all got into Scientology here in Las Vegas. Yeah. And we had some great photos of them too. Yeah.
I know. Who is the other young lady, Janice? I can't remember.
That's I think her name was Helda. She was married to Paul Preston. She was Portuguese. She was a local girl who ended up joining our crew, though, she didn't speak much English, but she got better and better. And she ended up marrying Paul Preston after he got back from New York with Hubbard. And Yeah, so she spoke Portuguese, so she was up there interpreting. She was the translator for Nikki. And there's
It's
Captain
Captain
Bill.
Bill with his baton, right?
No, that's his flute.
Oh, he
played a
played the flute too?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
What is it? A flute?
Yes,
I don't remember that.
yeah,
Oh, there's
yeah. And
Tommy
then
Rodriguez.
Tom Rodriguez right next to Nikki, and then Luton, and then Charlie behind him.
Right.
Oh, Alan Gilbertson.
Right.
Is that who that is on the guitar?
Yeah, he was an Englishman who was at the ship for training, and he was a techie, and he actually worked
12?
with.
Sorry.
I don't think he was 12. But he was the senior. He was the CS for Expanded Dianetics.
Okay.
And he was CSing all the folders with Hubbard as they were developing more on the Expanded Dianetics stuff.
Because I think I went on mission with him, which is a later story.
Oh, okay.
Into the Guardian's office.
Oh, all right.
Neil, let me ask you a question. So you mentioned in the last show that you guys were just doing all instrumental. There were no singing or anything like that. But do you remember some of the songs other than the 2001 Space Odyssey song?
We had 200 songs. There was Moanin' by.
Hold on. I mean on the second show. I mean, you obviously.
Show, I don't remember anything about it.
But I mean, you only had a handful. You only had a handful of songs.
Oh, we had the first gig. We had 4 songs.
Okay.
that was in the gazebo downtown. This one, we probably had more because we were backing up singers. There I am on the right in a tuxedo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just a bow tie. I don't know. Later on, we all had tuxedos.
Is that Billy Potter, the tall
Bill
Potter?
What a musician.
Now you played what sax? What type of? Were you alto or tenor sax or what did you play?
I played alto and tenor, but I'm from a different school. My school was New York, avant-garde, more that way. I did recordings in New York before I went, so I was more John Coltrane, Ornette Coleman, that era. Billy was pure blues, and because he backed up Big Mama Thornton. And he just really great. So these 2 schools of music in time became actually quite interesting.
What type of saxophone did he play? Did he play alto and tenor as well,
or did he play pure tenor? He was a pure tenor saxophone.
Okay.
Player. I played alto and tenor, but I didn't have an alto at the time. Later on, they bought an alto for us. But I was a pure. We had the exact same type of saxophone, same era. I mean, thank God for Luton later on when I got my saxophone back after I blew, because my saxophone is worth about 20 grand now. So,
wow. And then Luton played the trombone, right? And did you have a trumpet player or no?
Now, Luton was famous for being part of the Mission Impossible theme song. The doop, 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 doop was
really?
Luton, and another bass trombone player. He played with, I think, Woody Herman also. And also he was with the Air Force jazz band. They played Carnegie Hall. And I mean, you had a lot of great musicians in here. You had, Charlie was a great show drummer. I mean, he was really great. You couldn't beat Charlie to do a show. Tommy was a rock star already in Japan, and then he joined Scientology. Craig was a really good creative musician. Tommy was his self-made bongo jazz, but him and Craig and Tommy became great writers. Then you had Russ Meadows later on, who joined us, was a Renaissance man. I mean, he played all these different instruments and just was terrific. And then you had the young kid, what was his name?
Kenny Campbellman.
He was a prodigy, unbelievable. I mean, and then Wayne was just an all right trumpet player that added a part, but not what I would consider somebody, but he was there. And so that was what we had. And it was really some great musicians together.
Yeah. Now, after you did that second show in Funchal or whatever, was it then decided, hey, we should do this in every port, or we should like then book?
Yeah.
Because Homer Schomer, we had Homer Schomer, we've interviewed him, and didn't he become like your sort of road manager?
Oh,
or
he was a
stuff?
roadie. He was a
Yeah.
roadie. And yeah, so Hubbard took us all forward. That's when the mission, Commodore's messenger came down, and I think I told the story where they said, "What can I do to help?" And that's when I told you I understood the lingo now. And from then on, it was just us. And then later on, Hubbard became more and more involved. But yeah, it was great just to be musicians. And that's all we were for 2 years.
I was going to say, did you guys give yourself high fives, which didn't exist in the day? Because, oh my God, we get to play music now. We don't have to scrub the decks.
We looked at each other and said, holy shit. This is but in the world of Hubbard, you got to understand that I knew that it was only a matter of time when one of us or any of us was going to hit the deck. And hit the deck means like demoted to RPF. Everybody that ever was on that ship was demoted. And you just knew it was coming. It was not like, okay, you know, Kakan, which was his phrase for you, it would never die. You would always have.
You get 10 lifetimes.
Yeah, 10 lifetimes and all that. So, but you knew back of your head. So we enjoyed every moment. And it lasted 2 years. I mean, you read that like for eternity.
Well, the musicians,
Right,
Mark, the musicians actually, you know, they formed their group, but then as more bands were wanted and dancers were wanted, the RPFers who were dancers or musicians or wanted to be a dancer, they jumped to that opportunity. And that's like Joan Moreau, she was a violinist. And so she ends up on Toshira's band. Mm-hmm. And then you've got, you know, Mo was in the RPF. And
Mo started it. But first we were starting to rip him off for like Homer to be roadies and stuff like that.
Right.
Mo, who was in the RPF, my wife, that's her, she wrote to the LRH and said, you know, I can put dances together. The next one, you know, so the RPF became this our what do you call it?
Recruitment pool.
Yes, recruitment pool. Remember, there's 200 people on this ship. At one time, there was over 50 in the troop. So that's 25% of the ship. A quarter of the ship was in it. Now, this is where we did some Tarzan. Mo's in the middle, and Glenn Poole, and who's still in it? Watson.
Barry Watson,
who's still a Scientologist, which I can't fathom these people. And then next to him to the right, it was
Bonnie Meadows.
No, yeah, that's right. She's passed. She's gone.
Yes. And then Vince. Vince is the in next to Bonnie to the right, between Bonnie and Mo.
Oh yeah, he was from Nigeria or someplace.
I'm not. I thought he was from the Caribbean somewhere. I mean, that's where he used to climb the palm trees and get coconuts for us. Yes,
but he was really from South America somewhere.
Okay, and then at the very right is Laura Wolf.
I think it was Laura Wolf just for a little bit.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, Neil. So when the dancers idea came up and all that, how was it like? Would you coordinate? Was there like a head dancer? Was it Mo, or what did you guys do? Coordinate? We're playing these songs, and then you guys come up with these dances, or what would you do?
We would have these songs. We had this song, either was the song called Sudan or Tarzan later. I think it was the Sudan. So it was a great. I mean, like I said, there was 200 songs we had. What's on the album is nothing compared. So we would write a song, and then Mo would choreograph it. And when she would come in, the band would play, and then they would come in. And they would also have this ability to go into the audience and bring them into the show. So it became that into the interaction. It was totally exciting. You know, that is Bonnie.
Bonnie Meadows.
Bonnie Meadows.
Spain or Portugal?
I think that was Cadiz.
Cadiz? Yes, and this is us acknowledging the dances. I don't know what dance they would do. It could have been a Paso Doble, the bullfight song. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Now, so I can imagine Sea Org members. You guys are like going like, "Hey, we don't have to work scrubbing the decks. We can just choreograph our dances and do shows." It must have been like party time on the Apollo.
Well, you remember we got up when we got up. We were now
Yeah.
entertainers. So
Right.
entertain. So we would eat when we wanted to. So the galley would cook when we wanted. You know, midrats, when we come back, we always, midrats, which means midnight rations, was always available, which was at 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock. When the people working the nights would get their lunch or dinner. So, no, we had, first of all, we had a wardrobe business, so I didn't have to worry about clothes.
Right.
You know, Homer and his crew, like guys like Murdoch McBride and others, you know, would take care of all the equipment. So we would just show up. You know, Charlie's drums would be all set up.
You were like a touring rock band. You just showed up, and the roadies had a sound check, and away you go, right?
Well, tens of thousands of dollars was spent on equipment. We had huge sound cities. Just
so you had microphones and amplifiers and speakers and all that, right?
Recording board, you know, all that stuff later on as we grew and more into the world of music. So for 2 years, I mean, we go into port. Someone like you had David Ziff, who was in charge of marketing at one time. You had Alex Sibursky as a road manager. You had all these guys as road managers who were coming out of the RPF or whatever, and they would set up a gig. I remember one of the fun gigs was, I think David Ziff booked it. It was in a ice ring, not an ice ring, where hockey was played. You know, like a stadium.
Hockey arena.
Yeah, and it was a seat 5,000. Well, only 200 people showed up. So I go to the guys, okay, we usually would do zones, and zones in the band would be each guy would take a zone and entertain to that zone and do eye contact to bring in. I said, well, with this amount of people, we're going to do one-on-one like in basketball because it was just nobody there, and they were spread out. So I had to tell whoever was speaking Spanish at the time, tell them to come down to the main floor. So yeah, that was.
How did you guys book your gigs? Who did, and like what would happen? Like you're pulling into a new port or something, or what would happen?
Yeah, we would pull into port. Sometimes we'd play on deck, coming in, and but
you mean like a cruise ship? You guys are doing a cargo lines and everything coming in.
Yeah. Exactly.
But there was also an advance man was always sent ahead to the next port to set up the gigs. So when we arrived, they had immediate gigs to go do.
Where would you play? Would you play at like little community centers and little local places, or were you right there on the dock, or what did you do?
Oh no, we would play community centers. We would play orphanages. We would play any place we can get press. We got tons
yacht clubs, the local yacht clubs, even hospitals. I remember when I was dancing, Dee Dee and myself, Pat Broker and Quentin, we were like the 4 original dancers. And I remember we were in Madeira at a little local hospital doing the dancing.
Right. And that's exactly, and then, you know, we did a prison, and that guys got in trouble because the dancers were there and the guys were ready to jump the dancers. And so we left quickly. We did in Portugal, we did an army base. And I told all the dancers who had some perfume to pour it on the beds of the army guy, because that's where they changed, you know. So
So what were the locals told about the Apollo and Scientology and L. Ron Hubbard, if anything?
Scientology. Forget Scientology.
So there was no dissemination and no anything.
No, we were like James. We were a business.
You're Fabian.
We trained executives for businesses. We did not say Scientology. We did nothing like that. We did not recruit. We did not say anything about it. And we were the mystery ship. but the embassies knew who we were, and they would track us.
All the embassies and all the armies, everybody knew, and we're saying, "Oh yeah, we're like IBM trainers," you know.
Well, it doesn't make sense. Why would there be a music band on a ship that trains executives? That makes no sense. Like you would say, if there's a cruise line or something like that, that would be more.
Yeah, but Mark, we did. We had execs coming in from every org.
Oh, I know you did, but
for the org executive briefing course and the flag executive briefing course. You know, they all came to the ship to get their training, administrative training. So it went right along with our shore story.
Oh yeah,
but Scientology was just not mentioned, and L. Ron Hubbard was not mentioned.
Like I said,
so people would look up and see him on deck.
Yes. And at one time, he had his initials on the smokestack. But
that's right.
I mean, this was like the strangest. Like I said, everybody in the world except Scientologists and deport people at that time didn't know. You know, it was very
rough. Well, and you know, we had every weekend we had open house.
Yes.
And all the locals were invited to come aboard, and they would come every Saturday afternoon. You knew that people are going to be pouring aboard the ship, you know, sometimes like 500 people, you know, hundreds of people. Yeah. And they would be toured up the well deck and then up the stairs, up to the prom deck and over to the bridge.
But
and
never downstairs.
No, but Hubbard would be sitting in his office, the research room is what it was called, on the promenade deck. Curtains are open and all these locals are going by, and he's in there writing policies or talking to a messenger, you know, and people would look in the window and he'd just keep carrying on as if nothing was happening.
It was so weird.
That's amazing.
Weird. Yeah.
Now, did it create good public relations with the locals, like the band and everything?
Yeah, we were in effect, and it worked until it didn't, you know. And then
and you guys weren't paid, right? These were all like, oh, we're donating our time and efforts, right? So, like, if you were appearing at a hospital, it was always for free, right?
Never asked about pay or anything like that.
Well, I meant they weren't paying for you to be there. Like, you know how a band would normally get paid, right? They were like, oh, we got a free band? Yeah, well, go ahead, put on a show, right?
We were there as a gift to the town, to the gift to the church, to the gift to in Jamaica. You know, first we were in Europe and then in the Caribbean. And these were gifts that we would give to the town. The band is going to entertain you for free. This is the float in Tenerife.
Yep.
Now, is that Greg Wilhare in that photo?
Yes, it is. Yeah, let me go through. This is on the left, the woman on the left, that's Bonnie. And then that's Glenn Poole. Mm-hmm. And then is that Mo?
No, Bonnie and then Glenn Poole.
Yeah.
Then Mo.
Okay, and then Greg Wilhare and Sandy Wilhare.
And then Sandy, is that Sandy?
Yeah, it looks like Sandy.
Yeah, and people, some of our viewers may know that Greg Wilhare later became the Inspector General at Religious Technology Center and was one of Miscavige's right-hand man, and he's still there, apparently, and he dealt with Tom Cruise and all that in the future. But back in the day, he got out of the RPF and was a dancer in the Apollo Stars.
Yeah,
right?
Let me tell you, Greg was an auditor, and he was a very good auditor.
Oh, yeah. He's who recruited me in the Sea Org. I loved Greg. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Greg... We were looking for a new Commodore steward, so the messengers were given the job of find a Commodore steward. So we picked Greg because Greg got along with every messenger, everybody he dealt with, he got along with. There he is on the right there with Maggie Sabursky and LRH. But everyone liked Greg, and Greg could deal with Hubbard, so we thought, okay, let's make Greg the Commodore steward. So he became the Commodore steward, and he ended up getting RPF'd from it. And so there he was in the RPF when the opportunity came about where Mo was like, I need some dancers. Greg and Sandy were both in the RPF, and we're like, we'll become dancers. So.
Oh, that's funny.
You got more pictures, yes. Oh, yeah,
Is that Mo in the middle?
That's Mo in the middle, and Bonnie on the left, and Paco, he was a flamenco dancer from Mexico, who later
Fantastic.
became the Commodore's assistant steward.
Right.
And who's the flamenco player? That's not James Hare. Is that John Hanson
John,
or?
I think the guy from Tashira's group.
Yeah, yeah. And then behind Mo on the right with the long hair, that's Barry Watson, who used to be, he's a Kiwi, a New Zealander, and he always had short cut hair, and he was public relations for the ship. And when he became a dancer, he just let his hair grow.
Who's that playing the flamenco guitar with the long hair?
I don't know his name.
He was Tashira's guitar player, Steve or John. I don't remember his name.
John was a keyboard player, I think.
Yeah, that's who she married.
Now, who's the first? I can't remember who the first young girl is.
Oh, Denise McGehee.
Oh,
Mike McGeehee's wife.
Yes.
Are these the dancers, or are these the dancers as well?
Yeah, these are the dancers. So that's Denise McGehee. She came from the RPF. And then Bonnie, Mo, and Sandy. And then
Greg.
Sandy Wilhare. And then Greg Wilhare, Glenn Poole, who I was dating around this time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And then Barry Watson and Vince.
Yeah, Sandy and Greg Wilhare.
I used to go on libs with Glenn and Vince.
Neil, Sandy and Greg Wilhare, when Sandy got pregnant with her son Darius, they got sent to Washington, D.C., on garrison mission off the ship. But that's where I met them. I was like 15, 16 years old, and I was a public person in the D.C. org, and I had never seen anybody like Greg. I mean, he moved like from A to B, and he was just really impressive. And Sandy was such a sweetheart. Oh my God, she was so honey. She was like Yvonne, you know what I mean? Just full of honey and just great. Anyway, so I decided when I graduated from high school, rather than going to college, to join the Sea Org, because they basically said, "Oh, you should go to the, join." And that's when I went to Clearwater. So, and I had a long relationship with them. I know you did too, Janice, right?
It was a whole bunch of people who had that charisma,
Oh yeah, yeah.
It was very special, but that's the dichotomy. That's the cognitive dissonance of we're there enjoying ourselves. What are we producing? We have to get everything done by 2:00 on Thursday.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Neil. The people that you meet, okay, they're great people. I mean, they're just really competent, great people. You had some people that weren't so great, but they were like, you aspired, you liked being around them, right? Right, Janice? I mean, you liked being with these people.
And that's what kept people there so long was the connection and the friendships, the camaraderie. Sandy was my legal miner's mate. She was my legal guardian in my later years when she was married to Greg. And when she was pregnant with Darius and left, I had to get a new guardian. But it was very close.
Mo and I were the guardian for Vince and for the girls who
Gail.
What?
Gail.
That's right.
Gail, and I think Clarice also. Mo was also guardian for Clarice, CB.
We
Shelley's
picked up
sister.
everybody.
Yeah.
We enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So that's that float in the Tenerife parade? Is that it? Same one?
This is a weird picture because I don't understand. It must have been next to the ship because there's the life rafts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was on mission at this time, so I can't help you with that picture. Yeah.
This is one of the parties. This is not the wedding. This is another party.
Just one of the parties on board.
Yeah, we did a whole bunch of parties on board.
Yeah, but you can see, go back to that picture, and because that was in the officers' dining room, all the tables were cleared out, and that there's a beam there because you've got beams in the dining room to hold the deck up from above, and there's nothing you could do about it except work around it. But
now you mentioned last time you guys, did somebody make your clothes? You can see that you guys are all in suits with stars on the lapels.
They were designed by.
Who made those?
They were designed by Maria Stuckey, and they were manufactured ashore. We also had custom-made high heel platform shoes, white and blue, and like I said, by the time we had over 30 different types of uniforms.
Yeah. Maria Starkey, Norman's wife, had been on the RPF, and when they needed someone to do uniforms, Maria's like, I'm there, I can do this.
Another skill, a fun job. Yeah. Now this is where this looks like in the Caribbean somewhere or whatever.
This was in Tenerife.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's Val Schomer, Val Schomer in the front, Val Page, right?
Oh yeah.
And she's still in the Sea Org. Probably still the uniforms are in charge of the warehouse, but she's still there.
How terrible.
Yeah.
How terrible. Yeah. So, and then Stuart Moreau, Mike Goldstein.
Yep. And Bill Lazzaroni.
Who? Who's that?
Bill Lazzaroni.
Oh.
He's facing the crowd. Yes. And yeah, Mike Goldstein right behind him.
Yeah, we've done lots of interviews with both Stuart and Mike, you know, and it's amazing, these photos. I mean, I'm sure they're going to be happy to see these too.
Yeah, and there's
Bob Young.
Yeah, Bob Young. Captain Bob Young.
That's in right. To the left of the left picture? Left
yeah.
My captain on the boulevard.
Yeah. The party captain.
That's right.
That's right. Yes. There he is again.
And Alex.
And this is Bob Young. Is he the guy who was the captain ride on this mystery ship going up to San Francisco and recruiting everybody?
Yes.
That's him with that black hat on right in the center.
Yeah. And then in the khaki pants with the sunglasses, that looks like Alex Sabursky.
It is. It's Alex.
Yeah. LRH Hubbard used to call him Sasha because his mother, I think, was Russian.
Yes, he was.
Now, Bob Young, Janice, he's passed away, right? He's no longer with us?
Yeah, he passed away about 2 years ago.
Oh, Bob did?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Yep.
There's Kenny Campbellman on the flute.
And there's Neil not knowing what the hell's going on.
I don't know what's going on. What are you guys doing?
There they are, the saxophones. Neil, Billy Potter, and then who's that on the right?
The late Wayne Marple.
Oh, okay.
He died from asthma attack.
Did he? But that was a long, long time ago.
Yeah, he didn't have his his breathing thing.
I remember him, Janice, years later in Clearwater at the Fort Harrison. He was like the director of income and treasury when they were making, supposedly $1 million a week at the FSO. And he got in trouble for fault. They later got investigated that they were false reporting the income. Do you know what I mean? But I remembered him from that position there. Yeah.
He was on a lot of the missions, and maybe even the original mission that purchased the Blue Building in PAC. And he was part of that whole thing of buying it and renovating it. Yeah.
He also became, when he went to ASHO, American St. Hill, he was kind of a mean missionary type of game.
There's Neil getting down on the left and Billy, right?
Yeah, this is a pixel of me.
A lot of pixels.
Yes.
And
that's some stage, huh?
This is where the dancers brought people on stage.
Yeah, which you did a lot.
They look like fun shows.
This was taken by Chris. This was supposed to be the album cover of Power Source.
That's right.
And there's a musician there who doesn't belong, and that's Tony Strong. Tony.
Oh yeah, Amanda Ambrose's son, right?
A piece of crap. Died in prison.
We don't want to tell anybody what he did because it'll ban this video. So don't say that. But anyway, he was a criminal, right? Yeah.
Well, he left. Sorry, edit it out.
No, it's okay. No, I don't know. We know why he was left the ship or was kicked off, but we don't want to talk about that on this.
Oh, you didn't know?
We've interviewed his sister.
Oh, you did?
Amanda.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Amanda Strawn.
Yeah. She's up in Canada.
Okay, now I was going to show some pictures. This is LRH interacting, I guess, with the stars, right? This is, I don't know who.
Well, Mo is to his left. my wife at the time, and then that's Lizzie,
Yeah,
This
Lizzie
Gable
Gable
House.
House on the left.
and then
Left of the photo, yeah. And there's
there's Greg
Billy and
O'Hare.
Maggie Sabursky and Greg.
And then there's this picture here. Was this some kind of event or award or something for Hellerach's birthday? Or
I don't know.
It
why
was
would
an
he be in a
award for the
tuxedo?
music. It was for the musicians, I thought.
Probably.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I was on mission when this happened.
Were you in L.A.?
No, I was probably in Toronto,
Okay.
Toronto or New York.
No, this is a different band, right?
There's
Yeah, this is the Troubadours,
right.
and I'll go from left to right. Left with the afro, that's Joe Albert, and then the side of Hubbard, and next to him with the long hair, that looks like the back of Doreen Doe,
Doreen
my
Gillam.
sister-in-law, and then behind the microphone is Des Popham. He was LRH's chauffeur and transportation in charge for many years, but he was an incredible jazz pianist.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he actually was a lord. He was a British lord by title. And when he died, here's a funny story. When he died, his title went to his daughter, Claire Popham.
Oh, really?
Claire Rousseau, yeah, or Claire Lowing. And someone was telling me that they'd met Claire's husband, Lord Lowing. And I'm like, Lord Lowing? No, she's married to Rudy. I thought, no, he introduced himself as Lord. And then it clicked. Oh my God, because Claire's a lady, he's using the title of Lord Rudy Lowing.
Oh my
So
God.
this person thought his name was Lord when it was actually Rudy. But anyway, that's just a off subject. And then the lady there, that's Laurie Newman.
Right in the center. Yeah, right in the center.
In the center. She was the singer. And then on the drums is Norman Starkey.
Right.
God, that doesn't look like Norman. It's so funny.
Yeah, that is Norman, because Norman had been on the RPF and they needed a drummer, and that's how he got on.
Right.
And then the guitarist with the blonde hair, that's Mike Maurer. He's still a Scientologist. I hear he lives in Clearwater. And
He's got some big
well.
company. Yeah.
Yeah. And his mother, some old timers would remember Phoebe Maurer.
Oh, Phoebe. Yes. Lovely lady.
Yes, she was. And
this is
here,
all during the recording, right?
Yeah, this is from the actual cover of Power of Source.
Right.
I kind of moved in on it. But on the left, that's Annie Broker. At the time, she was married to Charlie Rush, who was the drummer for the Apollo Stars. And then Dan Albach. He was an incredible musician, but he was in charge of Hubbard's audio visio and did all the editing of the tapes. And he was a musician. And then Hubbard with the headphones on.
I have a story about Auerbach and Jeff Levin.
Yeah,
absolutely great bluegrass musicians. And Jeff was on the ship, and Hubbard made them play. He put a band together called the Rangers, and the Rangers was hokey country and western music from the 50s, really terrible music. So we got booked into. Now these guys, you're wasting these guys because these guys are absolutely brilliant musicians, and they're playing this crap. So we're playing the Opera House in Tenerife, and they were the opening band, and the place is packed because it's all free. And they went on playing this hokey, crappy music, and I felt so bad for Jeff and Auerbach and Dan. All they were playing this hello, come by, hey, terrible. So they got booed off the stage. So we're next, and they're starting to boo us. So I tell the band, okay, we're changing the lineup of the songs. And we always ended the shows with Summertime because it has Charlie going for 10, 20 minutes playing this unbelievable solo. So we started off and we really played an outrageous version of Summertime. Got a standing ovation. I said 2 more songs and we're out of here because I didn't want it. And then that night, the band was asked to play on top of a building that was having because this was all carnival time. We did the parade during the day. We did this gig, and now at midnight we're playing. And it seemed like for hours we played "Hey Jude," and the place went crazy. And that was more and more how we became tight as a band. But I always felt bad for Jeff and Dan.
Yeah, because your stats at that time was the minutes of applause.
Right.
How long the crowd applauded you for.
Yeah. And also standing ovations. And I remember we played the hospital of wounded soldiers in Portugal where they didn't have legs.
So they couldn't stand up.
So I'm going, well, we got to go for it. So we really played, and it was really exciting, and they got up on the stumps, and our stats were through the roof. But it was so vulgar. It was absolutely...
Well, we learned when we interviewed Mike Goldstein when LRH did this became Source to be promoted as PR,
right.
And Mike was on the ship. He said that's where the 3 cheers to L. Ron Hubbard came from, because the longer they applauded, that was their stats. So somebody came up with hip hip hooray, hip hip hooray. Yeah. Yeah, that's where that came from, because, like you said, the stats were the number of plus minutes.
Yeah, stats were strange. It was this whole, just a quick anecdote. When I got into the food industry and running dining rooms across the country, mainly Japanese, companies would close out their books on Tuesday afternoon because that was when the stats end that they can get to the home offices to tabulate them on a Friday because they're closed on Saturday and Sunday. So I got to close stats on Tuesday afternoon. I'm going,
2 o'clock.
What I want in life, but there you understood trends. That in Scientology, the Sea Org, there's nothing trends. It's either down or up.
Now I wanted to ask you a question here this will be our last little story here before we end the video, because we're almost at an hour. But I wanted to ask you, okay, this is Hubbard with you and the Apollo stars and all that. Now, when we talked earlier, it was all fun. You get out of the RPF and it's great and you're doing music and all that. And Hubbard seemed to like it. But what could a musician get in trouble for from Hubbard? Like, and what you have any stories about that?
I'm going to tell you the story about us getting drunk. We were we were someplace on Portugal, outside of Lisbon, playing a bar that was recording live across most of Western Europe. Now, we're guys who getting free drinks at the bar. So there we are getting drunk. So if you understand music, when a horn section goes ba-da-ba, oh, I can't sing. You're supposed to end all together. At this time, we're going ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. I mean, it was terrible. We got back to the ship. We're listening. He made us listen to our recording he made, and we go, "Oh my God, we're in deep shit." And what he did, he treated us, like I said, so strangely. What he did is he gave us. We had to do touch the wall. What was it? Operations by Dupe.
All Pro by Dupe.
That's it.
All Pro by Dupe. 100 hours.
And so we're there touching the wall, rehearsing, and then we touch the wall. Ashtray stand up, ashtray stand down. I mean, all this. I said that was our discipline. So that answered your question. At that time, we could do no wrong, even though it was definitely an out PR situation.
Yeah.
But
I mean, could you guys get in trouble if your stats were down, or if you played something, you heard something he didn't like, and then he would get rid of you? Never, huh? No. So you guys had ethics protection, they called it, right?
Yeah, we were totally protected because we were, first of all, we were entertainers. So he treated us as entertainers at the time, So yeah, I mean, I would go up at times and say hello to him, and I would say, "Can I say hi?" And the messenger would say, "Sure, he'd love to see you." He'd go in and offer me a cigarette. What was it? Cools without tips?
Yeah,
non-filtered
unfiltered cools.
cools.
Non-filtered with a cork tip. But the cork was around, not in. So I'd sit there and talk and.
Did you have
Yeah.
good interactions with him in those times? Like,
I mean, at that time, we were his distraction.
Right. But what would you guys talk about? Like the music or whatever? Or would he tell stories or?
He would tell stories and he would come down but the strange thing was that he was supposed to be a musician. In the 2 years, he never played a single instrument with us.
Yeah.
Never. So it was like.
Well, I can tell you later when he wrote the music for like Mission Earth and Battlefield Earth and all that stuff, we would get he was in hiding in Creston, California, right? And he had a little keyboard that he would just tap out the melodies or the rhythms that he wanted, and then he would write the stuff. No, he wasn't playing the whole thing. Yeah, but he did play an organ though at St. Hill, right? I mean, I've seen photographs of him doing that.
He had an organ at St. Hill. He didn't play it on the ship. We didn't have it. But I remember one time Norman Starkey had a ukulele. And so he gave that to Hubbard to play. And Hubbard sat there playing the ukulele and singing, Wild, Wild Women, and whiskey and some of those old ballads.
Sea shanties.
Neil, did you ever hear the return? Sorry. Did you ever hear the Road to Freedom album that was done after Hubbard died?
I heard some of it.
Huh?
Yeah. I heard some of it.
Yeah. I was one assistant producer on the whole thing.
Oh.
But anyway, we used LRH's voice singing "Thank You for Listening," the end song. Like, "Thank you for listening."
Oh yes,
right?
I remember.
He recorded that in his dictaphone, and it was not supposed to be used, obviously, because he wanted to re-record it later. But he died, so that was Miscavige's big thing. "Oh, this is going to sell great. We'll mix it all together," and we did. And I mean, look, as a diehard Scientologist at the time, I thought this was fantastic, because he could hit this low note.
Oh, how about the song on the album?
Huh?
What was it? The one where we sang.
We are going up while the world is going down.
Is that on the Power Source? Is that on the Power Source?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be sort of like a Gregorian chant.
Yeah.
The music is phenomenal. The extra musician part is my solo. You can hardly hear because my mic dropped dead for a while. But
it's too bad because the Apollo Stars, from somebody who wasn't on the ship, got a bad reputation from that album. Well, you guys obviously you had a huge reputation as a performing band. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
We were. But the album. Look at you. Again, look at the album cover. It's the weirdest cover you ever saw.
Yeah, it's that photo of LRH with Dan Arbach and Annie and other people sitting behind him.
Tony Strong.
Yeah, Tony Strong. And then,
this would have been a better cover photo for the album.
The album cover. But then you have that. Then you read the liner notes. The liner notes were written by a 5-year-old viewpoint, which was Hubbard. He had no idea how to write liner notes on the back. Yeah. And then the pictures of us were taken down in one of the lower holds on the ship. And if you look at my picture, I look like I just came out of a concentration camp. And, well, I did, sort of. And then you see, if you look at all the pictures, they're terrible. And those are the pictures that we use to hand out to people that had a picture of you with a big star, and then you would sign on the star.
Where was this album recorded? Was this in
Tenerife.
the Caribbean?
I got corrected by Laurel.
Tenerife in the Canary Islands.
Oh, okay.
It's a set of Spanish islands off the coast of Morocco. So it's off of Africa rather than off of Spain or anything.
Yeah, and this is the photo. Sorry, go ahead.
It's not far from Las Palmas, where Hubbard did his research for OT3.
That's right.
He broke his back and discovered the magic wall of fire.
But I was just going to say, this is a cropped version of the photo that became the cover of the Power
Right.
Source album.
Yes.
And Hubbard looks like he's really pissed off, and Annie and Dan, they all look really super serious, right? I think this would have been a much better cover.
Well,
Well, you know, I'll tell you, Mark, during the recordings of that album, he was pissed off most of the time.
yes.
There's some other pictures I included of him in the recording studio, and
Yes, but you have those where later
I'm not
on.
sure. I have
I
like this.
Oh, there's
um,
me. Yes,
yeah, that's
ahead.
you.
in my wife beater T-shirt type thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
you mean sitting down? That's you?
Yes.
Yeah, that's Neil.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought that was a woman. Your hair is so long.
What? Thank you. I don't mind. And that's Billy.
No, that's LRH in the blue vest, Joe Albert, Dan Albach, Luton in the back, and Wayne Marple and Neil.
Right.
And you?
And
Yeah,
they-
that's
Janice?
Neil.
it's Neil.
Oh,
No.
Neil. Okay.
Neil.
You have other pictures.
Oh, okay.
Go
Got
ahead.
it. I gotta see. I'm not sure which other pictures I have. I know you sent them to me, Janice, but I'm not sure that they're in here.
Well,
Yeah,
we'll
no, they're
sort
not
that
in here.
and
I got them in another slideshow. We'll
We'll
show
save
them
them
next
for the
time.
next interview.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you had the ones with Mike Garson, who was the
Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
show those.
for
Yeah, that's what
David
all those are,
Bowie.
Janice. I have them with the Mike Garson
Okay.
photos.
Okay,
and all
we'll cover
stuff.
that in the next one. Okay.
Okay.
Well, this has been fun.
Thank you. It's been fun
Yeah,
with you guys.
I mean, why wouldn't you, as a musician, if you got to serve a billion years, why not have fun at a gig and getting drunk and not having ethics protection? And not, of course, you ended up in the RPF a few times, but that'll be for our
Yeah,
future
you
show.
know, hey, from that I became a security guard in the lobby. There is a picture of me as a security guard that was published by Tony Ortega. So you have that.
Okay. Hey, I have a question. I just thought of this question just briefly. Why didn't they continue the Apollo stars once you guys went to Daytona and then to Clearwater?
Well, because at that time our purpose was non-existent anymore. Our purpose was to create safe ports.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you could have created a safe Clearwater. I mean,
Yeah.
that was the whole problem with
Yeah.
United
What we
Churches
could
and
have
everything,
done
you know?
And which we didn't. If we put us on tour, we could have made a lot of money for the ship and a lot of
Yeah.
money for Scientology.
But
Because
you
we
know-
were in big venues. But without a question.
If the musicians were playing in Clearwater creating good PR, then that would have been against the purpose of the Guardian's office to destroy our image and create problems for us.
Yes.
Yeah,
The
and rather
Guardian
than
office-
creating good PR, you just created horrendous PR.
the
The
Guardian
Guardian's
office took
office in Clearwater.
control, and
Yeah.
they really screwed up everything. You know,
I mean,
Yes, they did.
if it worked though in the Caribbean and in the Mediterranean, it would have worked in Clearwater in 1976.
in Clearwater, we were the United Churches of Florida.
Right, I know.
So there we.
But you could have been the United Churches of Florida band or
I
something.
would have
you know
worn
what I
my
mean?
crosses and and all that.
Oh well, hindsight's 2020, but that's how it goes. Hey Neil, this has been a lot of fun. We'll have you on it again here real soon, but it's time for me to mention Janice's Outback Natural Complete Liquid Multivitamins, and this is a new poster for your product, Janice. Ditch the pills, drink the power. Tell everybody about your complete liquid multivitamins.
Yeah, no, this is just all the irregular vitamins that the body needs, and it's all per the requirements of the regulations of how much you can take. And it's a great product. It peach flavored. It's peach flavored. Someone said, why didn't you make it orange? Because the peach flavor, when we tested it on people, that was the most liked flavor.
Yeah, it was
So
good.
that's what I went with.
Them.
Yeah. And so you can just QR code that on your camera and it'll take you to Vites.com or go to Vites.com.
Or go down below into our
Or
description.
go down
and there's
below.
a link and it goes to our merchandise store and you can order it there.
Yes.
But no, that's a great poster that you had somebody, a friend of yours,
and
designer,
I actually originally I had it done as a wheel cover for my Jeep to cover the back wheel.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, I like this so much. I then posted it on Facebook, and then I had another small one, and I put that on my other car, and it's like, I like this. Ditch the pills, drink the power.
That's it. That's the slogan right there. And like I said, it's just keep it cold, shake it up, 2 tablespoons, or I put it in a shot glass, drink it down, and you don't have to take all those pills. And it's really fantastic. So anyway,
Yeah.
You can order that down below. The other thing I wanted to mention, of course, is please subscribe to our channel, rock slam that like button, and hit that notification button so that you know every time we have another interview with Neil or anybody else, you know when it's coming. And then also, if you have any questions or comments, Neil answers questions. So if you've got any questions about the Apollo stars or Scientology or anything like that, go down below. We read them all, and we appreciate any feedback. If you'd like to support us, you can buy us a coffee. There's a link in the video description down below. Click on it. It's a way to support the channel. It just basically covers our expenses, and we appreciate that. All right, Janice and Neil, have you guys got anything else you want to say before we end off this show?
No, thank you.
It's been fun, Neil. Thank you.
Always, John.
Yeah, thank you. All right, everybody, until next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.